Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here today, my name is Audrey and we are going to be finally talking about the Scooby-Doo films. Now, most people are familiar with the theatrically released films over the past few years. However, there are a lot of straight-to-DVD TV movies that were made for Scooby-Doo over the past 2 years. So I was thinking, like, what year is it? Is anybody else at that point? If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. I do 2 videos a week, soon going to be 3 videos a week, all sorts of stuff, comics, entertainment, beauty, vlogs. I'd love for you to check it out. So I'm gonna go worst to best. I've seen, not including the like 30-minute shorts, I've seen 27 of these films listed, assuming they're on Letterboxd. This is all the ones that are on Letterboxd, and these are all either on Boomerang or HBO Max. So there's a few I haven't seen. Specifically, I know they just released The Sword and the Scoob, and they released one 2 years ago, I think, on Halloween, where like the Scarecrow from Batman is the villain. Haven't seen that. I did finally finish Scoob, which is what I was waiting to watch. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to rank, and I'm going to try to go quickly through most of these because 27 is a big uneven number. Number 27 is Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights. The reason it ranks at the bottom is this one, Scooby and Shaggy, it's just them, and they're barely in it regardless. There's like it's a big collab with Yogi Bear. This basically is telling you the tale of Aladdin. However, it comes off as extremely racist, which I don't know why Casey Kasem would agree to something like this, since he does voice act Shaggy, and considering the fact that he was Arab himself. I don't know what was going on here, but this was just a big no. Don't watch this, like, genuinely, it's bad. And even if it wasn't terrible, it's boring, so don't watch this one. 26 is Aloha Scooby-Doo. I will be quite honest with you, I just found this very boring. This came out in 2005. This was like 2005. Anything that came out during the What's New Scooby-Doo era, not very good. Like, that's not the time for films, so just not good at all. I know the native Hawaiians were the villains. In Hawaii? That's the story you're gonna go with? Okay. Number 25 is Chill Out Scooby-Doo. This is where they go into like the Himalayas. I think there's a Yeti villain. It's just boring. It came out in 2007, so not good. 2005's Scooby-Doo in Where's My Mummy? I remember watching this one on Cartoon Network when I was little. She's now in the video because she's annoying me. It's okay. There's not really much to this one, so that's why it's so low. 23 is Scoob. My God, I put a think piece on this one on Letterboxd. If I can find a place to link it, I will. Jesus Christ. This movie is terrible. The voice acting is bad, particularly Shaggy and Velma. Not good. I don't know why. If they wanted to do something like this and modernize it, they could have just had the live-action actors voice their counterparts, considering Matthew Lillard has voiced this Shaggy since Mystery Incorporated after that. So there's no reason to not do so. It was very disrespectfully done. It's really seen as a marketing tactic for all other Warner Media Entertainment, which I'm already not a huge fan of Warner Brothers. You didn't need to be doing that. I think what's really important about Scooby-Doo is that it really feels nostalgic, and this doesn't feel nostalgic. I get you're trying to appeal to modern audiences, but like, kids like Scooby-Doo. I mean, I played some of like the more modern straight-to-DVD movies that I really enjoy, and my little brother was laughing and found them super interesting. So you don't need to go about this incredibly ghastly marketing ploy in order to get little kids to be interested in your film. So, not good. Definitely would not recommend watching Scoob. It was bad. 22 is Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Fantasor. This is just another, when did this one come out? 2011. So the Mystery Inc. sequel around the time when we're doing Mystery Inc. and the What's New live action or straight to DVD movies are both pretty terrible. All the like 20,000 that they made. It's too bright, and I don't like Velma having crushes on men. It's not acceptable. Especially like her weird twin counterpart. It's very bizarre. Like, he's designed to look exactly like her. It's just... 21 is Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. I definitely watched this on Cartoon Network. This is an older one. There was about 4 of the 80s films that came around. I didn't see the Boo Brothers. I heard it's terrible. Some of them are better than others. I wrote this as the godforsaken trio. Scooby, Shaggy, and Scrappy do not work as a trio. I know a lot of people hate Scrappy. I don't hate Scrappy. I think the worst part when Scrappy is involved is how bad of role models Scooby and Shaggy are. And then Shaggy has like a girlfriend. I think the only benefit, this is like the weird monster racing movie. The only benefit of this is that Dracula keeps calling Shaggy Shaggy, which is really funny, but I don't like this one. 20 is Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King. This came out in 2008, so again, right in that time before Mystery Inc., but after What's New Scooby-Doo. This is just like Scooby and Shaggy go on a big adventure with like a pumpkin, and that's fine, but I don't think Scooby and Shaggy work by themselves. A lot of people are not going to like the fact, but 19 is Scooby-Doo 2002. That's the live action, the first one. I don't like the villains of this. I don't like Scrappy as the villain. When I was little, it didn't really bother me because I didn't have really any exposure to Scrappy because they want to pretend like he doesn't exist. I like Spooky Island itself, but the plotline is not my favorite. I think the opening scene is great. The weird CGI'd Scooby-Doo kind of works for me, even though he looks pretty terrible, but the weird CGI'd villains do not work at all. So that's why I rank this so much lower than the other ones. I do like the second one better, which is much higher. I have a whole list that I can go through that I just think, the next 3 I just think are pretty much, next 4 are just very, run-of-the-mill. I think they're pretty much the same. So that would be Scooby-Doo Music of the Vampire, Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico, Scooby-Doo Pirates Ahoy, Scooby-Doo Mask of the Blue Falcon. Those 4 were 18 to 15, and they were either a Mystery Incorporated film or a What's New. And there's just nothing particularly special about that. Nothing particularly horrible, but nothing particularly special. 14 I want to single out, even though I kind of put it in that category, because it is Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island. This completely disrespects Zombie Island and all it stands for. There seems to be this new thing that in the old ones where all of the monsters are real, they're then making weird straight-to-DVD sequels about how they were wrong the whole time. This is a whole thing. There's a 13 Ghosts movie, which I'm not happy about because Scrappy is not in it, even though he's in 13 Ghosts. Flim Flam is really weird, and they basically retcon it as not real monsters. So I don't know what the obsession of doing that is, but I'm not a fan, so they need to just leave those alone. 13, surprisingly high, is Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, which came out in 1988. So that's from the group of movies from the 80s. It's much better than The Reluctant Werewolf. Again, I don't think Scrappy, Shaggy, and Scooby work as a trio. However, I think that the little girl ghouls really do work. So this one is like they are teachers at a little monster school, so we have like the daughter of Dracula is there, and the Wolfman's daughter is there, and it's just, and like a mummy's daughter is there. It's very cute. It's very, very cute. 12 I thought was kind of run-of-the-mill, but a little bit better, which is why I ranked it much higher, was Big Top Scooby-Doo. It takes place in a circus. I know there's like a metal band that they're following. It just has more of an interesting backdrop compared to some of the other kind of run-of-the-mill ones. I'm trying to rush through it because I gotta get back to work. People are gonna be mad that I ranked this one low too, but number 11 is Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. So this is where I started focusing on highlights of these films because I think this one is genuinely good. The voice acting is just not great. Shaggy and Scooby have weird different voice actors. The highlight of this has to be How Groovy. If you never heard it, I will link it below. That song is incredible. It's a song Shaggy sings, which I relate to on a personal level. And also Crystal and her dog. That's the highlights of these. But Shaggy and Scooby definitely want to bone some aliens, so just as a spoiler there. Number 10 was Scooby-Doo Abracadabra-Doo from 2010. It was a Mystery Inc. Around the time of that. And I think it's surprisingly good. We get to see more of Velma's family members, and also Velma's sister Marcy has a huge crush on Shaggy. But it takes place at like a magic school, which is pretty cool. Number 9 is Scooby-Doo Camp Scare. This came out in 2010. The highlights of this would have to be the voice acting. I do love that cast. I have to say the newer animated cast of Scooby-Doo is very, very good. And also Mark Hamill is a guest in this, and he's great in everything he's in. So I also do like that it shows Mystery Inc. as adults working with kids, so you get to see that kind of reaction as their adult mystery solvers. Number 8 is Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold. So this is like a crossover event because there is a series called Batman the Brave and the Bold. It is the new Batman animated series. I like all my Batman Scooby-Doo crossovers. I think they work really well together, possibly because Batman's a detective, so it works out that well, that way. This is a really good one, so I say this is definitely on the watch, I would say the must watch, if you like both characters especially. The highlights from this would be Shaggy and Scooby trick Bane, and then Scooby gets the wheel of the mystery machine and runs over both the Penguin and the Joker. It's really hilarious and definitely worth watching just for that scene. But we do get to see other Batman characters or other DC characters like Black Canary is in this, The Question, Martian Manhunter, so it's really, really good in that aspect. Number 7 is Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. I actually really do like this, but I just think that some of the animated stuff is much better. So I really like this. I think the highlights of this would be the villains gallery that is displayed in live action. Again, CGI is kind of a mess. The story is great. Scooby and Shaggy by themselves works really well in this, surprisingly. But we get to see kind of like what the villains' lives are like unmasked, which is really cool. So also there's like songs that are really good in this. And I think despite the CGI Scooby not being the best of the Scooby voice actors, I think he works really well in this. Number 6 is Scooby-Doo and the Gourmet Ghost. Surprisingly, I really like this. So this has like Food Network stars in it, particularly Bobby Flay is really big in this. And they actually voice act their characters that are in the movie. What am I saying? They are the voice actors. Also, Giada's in this. If you watch Food Network, you know the people I'm talking about. And most people know who Bobby Flay is, but like Giada's a little bit more of a Food Network-centric person. But I think this one's really good because it's like a newer one. It came out in 2018, but it still has a nice feel to it. Takes place in New England somewhere, and it has a really good story in the aspect of the people who are heroes aren't always necessarily, like in tales, aren't always necessarily the heroes in real life. So I think that's a pretty good lesson going forward as well. Number 5 is Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. So don't get this confused with Music of the Vampire. It's a different one. This came out in 2003, so around the What's New era. However, it has the original voice cast in like the new drawing, so it's a little bit bizarre in that aspect. You're just going to have to get past that, but other than Don Messick, who did pass away in the late 90s. It takes place around a concert. I like all of the music ones, and the Hex Girls are in this. I forgot to put that in my notes, but the Hex Girls do make an appearance in this, which is great. The Hex Girls are in a lot of Scooby-Doo media, actually. If anybody's interested in like a Hex Girls video, I would love to do that. I just love Scooby-Doo, and I want to keep doing Scooby-Doo videos, even if they're not like super popular on my channel, but you know, 10 out of 10.
Number 4 is going to be Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Good God, did this scare me when I was a kid. I am horrified of Tim Curry. He is in this, and I always like, why is this character so creepy? Because it's voiced by Tim Curry, so that explains that. The Shaggy and Scooby voice acting still not great, but the story is really good. The late 90s, the 4 ones and early 2000s, the 4 films that came out where all the monsters are real, absolutely great. Except for one, but all like they're all really good films. So I would say 10 out of 10, you should just watch those. That would include Alien Invaders, which I did rank a lot lower, but really, really good one. Witch's Ghost is really solid. 3 is Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. This one is my favorite out of the 4 that came out in that era. It's my favorite. I don't necessarily think it's the best. It might be one of the weaker ones. I think Witch's Ghost is probably a little bit better, but it's my personal favorite. So I put it at 3 because it's my personal favorite. Just for nostalgia, I think, again, they have the villains lineup like Scooby-Doo 2 does, but I think I like the villains they end up using in Scooby-Doo 2 a lot better than this one. So you get to see old Scooby Gang versus the new Scooby Gang. Not versus, but like they're together. It's really, really cool. Number 2, this may be shocking for some of you because I know a lot of you think it's number 1, but I've watched more Scooby-Doo than you, so I probably know a little bit better, is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. There's not much that I need to say about Zombie Island that you don't already know. If you watch any sort of Scooby-Doo media, you've probably seen Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. The monsters are real, they're adults, they're professionals, it's great. And number 1, that not that many people have seen it, and I saw it recently, which is on Boomerang. So if you do have Boomerang, or if you don't, it's an app. It's like a paid streaming service. I somehow don't pay for it, but don't tell Warner about that. That's fine. The first one would have to be, if you know me, it's not surprising. It's Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. This came out in 1979, very end of the 70s. This movie is extremely 70s, so I will link some of the songs from this because it's really good. I mean, Scooby, so basically Shaggy convinces Scooby that he's the star of the show and he doesn't need to be in all these scenarios always playing the bait. So in this version, it's like the characters are playing themselves in a TV show, and that is to explain what the Scooby-Doo show is. So it's like real people playing themselves in fake scenarios. So that's what this like actual Scooby-Doo show is in the old canon. So Scooby-Doo is like, I'm going to become a big movie and TV star, but I want to do something else. I want to do other types of acting. I can do this. But he basically is just a klutz throughout everything because he's a big, goofy, clumsy dog. So that's what's going on. So he joins Happy Days at one point. He joins a version of a show that's supposed to be like Sonny and Cher. He goes roller discoing in one moment. He is in The Sound of Music in one moment. And it's basically showing that, you know, he's not for this, but that he belongs on the Scooby-Doo show. It's really great. I really, really, really like this one a lot. I cried so hard. This song, it gotta make my mind up, I think is what it's called. Really calms me down when I'm really not in a good mood, and I tend to watch it like every single day. So that one and How Groovy from Alien Invaders I watch literally constantly. It's really good and it's really funny. So 10 out of 10. If you watch any Scooby movie, I think you should watch Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. It is very time capsule though, so there's a lot of 70s references, there's lots of stuff going on, but I think you would genuinely enjoy it. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this breakdown of the 27 Scooby-Doo films I've watched. What Scooby-Doo related content would you like to see next on my channel? If any, please let me know in the comment section down below. As always, I've been Audrey, and I will see you on Tuesday with a new video.